Guess I gotta say it twice, it ain't my fault. Every little thing got a price, that's what I thought. That's what they taught. Yeah, I'ma take my chance till I drop. You know this ain't the time for the two of us. Ooh, I ain't got space to be thinking about growing older. Done my thinking, me and you. Yeah, guess it's over. It was a rainbow.
Bone apple tea.
When our hearts get back on track, when the stars line up, that's that. I've been attached, just looking out. We move so fast, was moving south. My secret sauce, boo, in and out. Miss how you gloss that pretty mouth. Baby, you gotta air this thing out. Get it right up in here.
Welcome to True Awakened. My name is Sharun. You know this already if you're familiar with our channel, but if you're new here, I welcome you as well. Join us. We're gonna have a little chat. I just wanted to take a moment to sit down and talk with you about, obviously, the title of the video, if you clicked on it for that reason, is living for soul versus living for ego, and that's what I'll be getting a little bit more into with you right now. Before we get into it, let me sort of set the vibes, clear the energy. I'm gonna light some incense and light my candle. While we're at it, I'm just gonna light some Palo Santo to really get us right. Don't worry, I got you. I got you. Breathe in positivity, radiance, joy, protection, and breathe out all negativity, worries, doubts, and fears. We can chat a little more. I created this video as a part 2 from a previous video that I did titled Living for Soul versus Living for Ego. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out the first video that I did about a year ago. I am so excited to share more of my journey and dive a little bit into what I've learned in the past year on this topic. By living for ego versus living for soul, I mean ego in a way of the sort of outer harder shell that we create to protect ourselves from others or present ourselves a certain way to others that may not absolutely and fully reveal who we are at our core underneath that hard shell. I just wanted to clarify that before getting into this, not to say that one thing is unnecessary or better than the other, but I just think it's a good distinction to make, at least in my own terms, before I continue this conversation. I would like to start by saying that alone time is so much more than spending time alone. It is truly taking time to get to know who you are, your interests, your desires, your comforts, and even your discomforts and pains. I know living in the age of social media, especially, it can be so easy to get caught up spending a lot of our time just scrolling and watching, which makes it so easy to give more energy into what others' lives, needs and opinions are, over truly tending and taking time to nurture these details within our own lives. And I know the saying is now that we should just all go outside and touch some grass, but I feel like it's so much deeper than that. In the past few months, what I have learned on the journey of understanding what it truly means to live for my soul versus my ego, I have discovered that in my solitude, I'm able to uncover the most honest, vulnerable, and shameless parts of myself. When we are able to sit with all parts of ourselves, even the parts that the ego comes to see as less important or disposable because it has been covered with other emotions like shame or guilt, we are able to remove the suppression or oppression of these parts and thus able to reveal the truth that lies underneath. This theme of the ego wanting to act out because of suppression shows up in many different ways in all of our lives, but one that has been a very prevalent theme in my own is being completely honest about the soul's truest desires. What is, in essence, my soul's purpose? As I spend and as I have spent more and more time alone in solitude, mindfully learning myself, my thought patterns, my intuitive powers, my triggers, my creative gifts, I also come to notice the desires of my heart that have been there since I was very young. When we are living from a place of suppressing our soul's true desires and living primarily for the ego, we can quickly and oh so easily get caught up in the lives that others want for us, which comes with instant gratification seeking and constantly needing validation from others. I feel like this ultimately makes you suppress yourself and your true desires even more, which leaves our ego, let me tell you, honey, it leaves our ego more angry and damaged than before. I'm still practicing it for myself, but it's already looking better over here to allow myself to dream and to desire the things that I truly want and to be honest about what I want with myself and with other people. There is definitely a time and a place where our egos help us in healthy ways, but I think in the fast-paced and sometimes egocentric world that we live in today, getting caught up in the distortions of our egos is not few and far between. There are so many distractions just waiting for us to fall into, and so many false dreams we are sold. We are often told that if we just give away little pieces of our soul to satisfy the ego in the present moment, it will all be worth it. And that is why I'm making this video, because I'm not fully sold on this. Just as we now clearly know the American dream is not fully accessible, possible, or even so much of a dream anymore for those that reach it, I think that many of the distorted egoic desires can be seen in a similar way, especially if we look more deeply about why we even desire these things to begin with. Is it a soul-fulfilling desire, or simply something desired to look better than the next person, or impress your neighbor Jimmy up the street who said you couldn't have a nice car? Shut it, Jimmy. I make myself laugh. I'm sorry. For me, getting honest about my true desires has looked a lot like having some difficult conversations with myself, and sometimes after reflecting why I've been chasing so hard after something, I realize that I do not actually desire it completely at a soul level. I have found that often these distractions can stem from our own childhood traumas. The things or the people that made us feel unworthy or not good enough become the sole reason or motivating force for us chasing similar things and people just to prove that we were worthy all along. But what if we truly were worthy all along? What if on a soul level we knew this about ourselves deeply and we trusted that what was meant for us would align naturally, so long as we stay that course and do our inner work? I believe that this is one of the greatest ways to align with your desires in a way that does not mean selling yourself short or convincing yourself that you must be someone that you do not like just to achieve your dreams. On my own journey, I have become a firm believer that it is not worth it to become someone that I do not soulfully trust or care for, just for these desires and dreams to come true. I feel like I would rather just align with the things that are actually meant for me. In this way, the work that I do internally, which reflects externally, becomes that much more meaningful to me. So something I do to check in with myself when I'm wondering, am I living for my soul or am I living more for my ego distortions? I ask myself, would my child self care about this? Obviously your child self's not gonna want to pay bills and be a responsible adult, so at least would my child self think that this was cool, inspiring? And if not, I usually allow myself the space to detach from those things so I can properly reflect on what my intention is with being attached to them. Why you moving the way that you're moving, because if you move in a way that's not going to allow for you to be someone that you're proud of and want to truly be at the end of the day, then you're gonna have to switch it up. Overall, if you get anything from this video, I would just want it to be to truly sit with yourself and reflect on why your desires and dreams are your desires and dreams, and are they truly yours? Do you truly care about them, or did you just become so accustomed to caring about them because of what others told you to think and care about? This conditioning can be scary to reflect upon and undo at first, but after a while you realize that in undoing the programming that isn't aligning with your spirit, you aren't just simply shedding those layers, you are also creating more space for the real you to come out. You are making it a safe space for your inner child and true self to know that you will always choose your authentic desires and unique path. And now I leave you with a reminder that I've often had to give myself on this journey. There is no perfect way to heal, no perfect way to be human. These reflections that we have and these questions that we ask ourselves are simply so that we can be at peace with ourselves on a real, intimate level, not so that we use these moments to further criticize ourselves. So as you take the time to get to know yourself, do so with patience, love, and compassion. Explore what is important to you, what matters to you when you are alone, not feeling the need to prove anything or satisfy the ego. What makes you feel fulfilled within, just for your own sake. That is all I have to share. If you're new here, I'm gonna need you to subscribe right now and join our little True Awakened community. And I hope that you stay true.
Literally so good. Bro, amazing.
You always let me know.